So I'm Shalom Goldman. I'm the Pardon Tillinghast Professor of Religion at Middlebury College. And my book is Jewish-Christian Difference and Modern Jewish Identity. For many centuries, Judaism and Christianity were antagonistic religions. They were viewed by the members of each group, the Christian majority and the Jewish minority, as essentially incompatible and hostile. And in the 20th century, a shift occurred in the relationship between these two religions. The result of this historical change is that the borders between these two religions have shifted and in a way have become more malleable. Judaism and Christianity are less different from each other than they used to be. And the book is constructed around the linked stories of 7 20th century individuals who converted from one religion to another. These 7 stories are each so good, I thought I could make a book out of each of them. Each individual tale tells of a person's quest to find a religious tradition in which they feel most comfortable. So the book tells of 3 converts from Christianity to Judaism and 4 converts from Judaism to Christianity. Conversion before the 20th century was often rejecting the old religion, finding a new religion. But many of these people carved out for themselves a kind of mental space where the religions could be compatible. It's nonfiction. I would call it journalism by an academic. Think of it as historical fiction or kind of docudrama. The book begins in France on the eve of the Second World War. It tells 2 stories of conversion there. And in France, Italy, Russia, in those 3 countries, I tell 1 story in each country of the conversion from Judaism to Christianity and a parallel story of the conversion from Christianity to Judaism. So there's a geographic frame of the book. Central Europe, then Russia, then expanding out to Israel to the east and the United States to the west. But each of these 7 stories is linked so that the protagonists have connections or experiences on the 3 continents. So the Jewish-Christian relationship before the 20th century in Europe was one in which Jews were a small minority. Christianity was the dominant religion, and before the French Revolution, it was the religion, the state religion of many European countries. And Jews were either ghettoized or discriminated against in some fashion. It was very, very unusual for a Christian to become a Jew in the 1,000 years before 1950. Why become the member of a persecuted minority? For many complex reasons, the murder of the Jews by the Nazis changed the Christian-Jewish dynamic. This was especially true in the case of the Catholic Church. In the early 1960s, at the Second Vatican Council, the Church reevaluated its relationship to other religions, not only to Judaism, very specifically to Hindus, Buddhists, and to Muslims. Then, after the Second World War, the establishment of the State of Israel caused another and related type of reckoning with Judaism. So the Jews now emerge from the historical background to be a people of a state. Israel becomes a state rather than just a religion. This is a confusing situation, both to Jews and to others. Prior to the establishment of Israel after the Second World War, Judaism was, or Jewishness, to use a more ethnic term, was perceived as a religion by both Jews and Christians. Once a Jewish state, and that itself is a problematic term, whatever it might mean, a state of the Jews or a state that is Jewish, once that state is established, the picture changes, and for many people, both within the Jewish communities and outside of them, Judaism is understood as a nationality or an ethnicity. Can one convert to an ethnicity? That's a good question. That's a question that bedevils American culture. Israel, in the form of its government and by extension in the form of its clerical arm, the chief rabbinate, has tried to define who a Jew is. If I'm writing a book about becoming a Jew or leaving the Jews to become a Christian, I have to define my terms. It's easier to define who a Christian is. It's getting more difficult to define who a Jew is. Is a Jew someone from Israel? Well, 20% of the population is not Jewish. Is a Jew someone whose mother is a Jew or whose father is a Jew? Well, the different Jewish denominations differ about this question. Is a Jew who becomes a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist still a Jew? Depends who you ask. There are as many opinions about this as there are people. So the whole question of Jewish identity per se becomes more complicated and, in my opinion, much more interesting because of Israel. Dear Patheos readers, you can get a fuller picture of my views and how they relate to the question of Jewish-Christian relations by sticking with Patheos. Thank you.
It's very direct.